Hello and welcome to another edition of Data Center Pulse. I'm Dean Nelson.
And I'm Mark Thiele.
And we're the founders of Data Center Pulse, and we're going to give you an update of what's been going on since our last broadcast together. We've put together the board of directors, and just to get an idea, besides the two of us on the board, we have Richard Donaldson from United Layer.
We've got Jan Wiersma from the Dutch Police representing Europe for Data Center Pulse.
We've got Graham Hay from a major financial institution.
We've got Jeff Tepfer, who's a senior engineer at Qualcomm.
And Phil Reese from Stanford, who's doing high-performance computing.
And Jeff Rutledge, who runs infrastructure for Fox Online.
And I got to say that the board is extremely productive. I mean, we're blessed to have these people on there.
No, it really is an outstanding group. And what's amazing is that Dean and I thought we were going to be able to do this. And a month ago, we still thought we could do this. And the reality is that in the last month, without the board, we would have been... we would have buried ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and if you look at it, we want the power of the community to come together to make this thing better than it's ever was originally intended to be.
Right. And if you'd like to learn more about the board, go to our website. You can see all of the profiles for each of the board members there, including the Dean and I.
Yeah, they get a little boring, but you know.
Yeah. Just don't look at the pictures.
There you go. So how are we doing on membership?
Membership is really strong. So we've actually seen an uptick in January. Our total membership has just reached the 660 mark.
660.
660. Oh, it's amazing. 5 months, 660 people. We've got 400 plus companies, 34 countries, 59 industries. Of course, we're probably measuring industries a little bit different than your average magazine does. Yeah. But nonetheless, it represents pretty much every industry there is available today. We've got an average of 132 that sign up a month. But what's very interesting is that in the month of January, we've actually seen an acceleration. Back closer to the first month or 6 weeks that we were had opened the site, where we've seen 167 in January, and already we're just getting into February, and we've got 49, and we've got 58 waiting in the wings, many of which will get approved and become members as well. In general, what we see is about a 25% dropout rate of folks that don't qualify to become members, but it really looks like it's moving strong. And for those of folks who don't make it into Data Center Pulse, our sister group, the Data Center Pulse Industry, has grown reasonably well as well, and we've got 450 plus members there.
The website that we've now launched is going to really change all of it. Mark and I had a lot of thoughts about how we were going to put this together, but this is a true Web 2.0 interface. And I got to say, it's all open source. It's free. I love it. This is exactly what the internet and about development, what this is all about. So it's Debian OS, we've got Zen, we've got Apache the web server, MySQL is the database, PHP, GNU, Java, and Drupal is the front end. So datacenterpulse.org is a brand new site. It's actually a full engine for us to go back and do this. It is its own social network. It's going to now expand our capabilities within what we want to do for our user base. So everybody can log in, and they will have access based on their membership profiles to the content, to these pages, to be able to go into discussion boards, tagging. It's everything you can imagine around the Web 2.0 piece of it to really harness that stuff. Because we've had some challenges of, originally, we wanted to take the LinkedIn discussions, strip them, and put them back out onto the web for people to see.
Right.
The work to do that.
No, and the work and the inability to really manage the tracks of information effectively, et cetera, and the website development through literally one or two, mostly one member of the board with some help from another one. It's just mind-boggling. Literally in days, we had solutions that 3 or 4 years ago would have taken people weeks to put together.
Yeah. Yeah, so great work by the board again. And so it's hosted over at United Layer. We've got just a ton of development that's going on underneath, but the interfaces are already pretty much rock solid. So it's just putting the pieces together with some code. And the part is that we now will be able to have the industry groups actually log into the website as well. That's coming, so that they can put in their content, and we could be able to marry some of this together, but still keep the anonymity of the user. So I'm really excited about the actual website itself. It's really coming together. And for those that are coming to the summit, you're going to be inside of these actual groups doing the discussions. But this website has truly allowed us to enable the globe to participate. And that's what it's all about. The users will be able to log in. We're going to have discussion tracks. We're going to have polls and everything live in there that's going back into the leaders and to the actual moderators, right, for those tracks, and getting real-time data into it.
So this is really, from what at least we've seen relative to events similar to this, will be the first time that folks that are outside of the room where the discussions are occurring are doing anything more than just listening to what's happening. These folks will actually be able to participate and provide instant feedback that the folks in the sessions will be able to use and be able to help guide their discussion and make sure that they hit the salient points that people are finding important to them, literally from anywhere on the globe.
And that's
amazing.
That's what's really cool about it, because we wanted to get people together to have discussions, and now we can get everybody together. And this is what the future really looks like. It's, you know, the face-to-face isn't important for us. It is nice to network and get there, but we don't want to have 2 conferences a year in one part of the world. We want to have 30 online real-time.
Yeah, we really want this to be the equivalent of you know, open source development of ideas, right? Yeah. I mean, this everything we do. I mean, don't get us wrong. Both Dean and I love to talk. We love to get in front of people.
Probably too much.
And we love to network. Exactly.
Yeah.
But the first thing we noticed when developing the summit, especially in these hard times where it's difficult for people to get approval for even $500 to spend on dinner for their team or something, expecting someone to fly out from the UK or Singapore to come join the conference for a day and a half is unrealistic. And it was really important to us, not only in the development of the board, but in the development of our membership and how they contribute, to ensure that we got ideas from everywhere. I mean, a big part of what we do is challenging assumptions, making sure that a single source isn't guiding where we go. And if we don't get the participation from everyone, we're going to miss that opportunity.
Right. Besides, we all want to say that Mark is nuts. So now we can do it globally. It's a great thing.
Exactly. Globally and quickly.
Yeah. So here's the other thing to think about. Usually these tracks that are in these summits are put together months in advance. The presentations are required months in advance. We are literally down to the wire, and we've now filtered it into what are the 6 that we're actually going to talk about in there. And part of it, we've now broken into 2 of them are going to be online only. So I'm leading the top 10, but to have a bunch of people in a room all afternoon to talk about the top 10, I don't think is worthwhile. So we're going to have them go into other tracks, but we're going to be able to poll before, during, right, and right up to the point when we do the presentation from the user base. We're also going to pull out to the industry to say what they think the top 10 should be. So everybody's going to participate. And then on your track.
Yeah, I'll be doing the certification track. And again, on the certification track, slightly different from what Dean will be working on. But one of the same issues arise, and that's that we don't really expect there to be a complete answer relative to certification in one day's event.
Yeah.
Right? This is really basically building the kernel for an operating system. Right? And we're gonna expand on that going forward, and this is going to be an online activity that will potentially last several months as we put the framework together for what hopefully will become an industry accepted standard for how we certify people and/or the data centers that they operate.
Yep. And think about this: that what other conference have you been to where there are a working session where literally the next day the report goes back out to what they found? It just doesn't usually happen that way. It's just a lot of iterations that go into and tuning for it. What we're saying is that here's what we think so far, and the global community has participated in this. 2 other pieces that you guys may not know: there is now a Netherlands board, right? So a chapter, a data center chapter. So Jan Wiersma is actually putting that together. They're going to take the content that night on Monday, review it, get it back to the leaders for them to contribute into that actual output for the next day. And the same thing for Bangalore, India. Ramesh KV is doing that organization over there.
Yep.
So it's really good. And the real-time part of this. So as you can tell, we're a little bit wound up about it.
Yes,
it's good. So if you have not signed up for the actual summit itself, please follow this URL on the bottom. And remember, you have to be a member to participate in this. So please go into LinkedIn, search for Data Center Pulse. Submit your request into there. Then from there you can now register on the actual summit link that we've got.
If you're worried about how fast you'll get approved, don't worry. Even if it's midnight, I'm making sure that as people request entry into Data Center Pulse, they're getting approved as quickly as possible.
So stay tuned for the next edition of Data Center Pulse, and please jump in and join us for the actual summit.
Sign up, be there, and participate.
Thanks.
Bring the beat back. Pump the beat down.